This episode is brought to you by Ferrero. Soccer's biggest stage is approaching, and Ferrero is making it easy to go all in. Pick any two Ferrero brands from Kinder Bueno to Ferrero Rocher, and you could win the $1 million grand prize, plus an exciting range of daily and weekly prizes. Don't miss your shot. Official rules apply. Learn more at goallinandwin.com.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
2017 was an interesting year in geek filmdom. Superhero movie fans were getting fed well, while Star Wars fans were sending their meals back. But enter a film that looked to be on everyone's menu, but ended up like a Frankenburger. Time to buckle up for a fun ride to see if Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets is not that bad. Welcome, one and all to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades in B movies. Hello to all our listeners in Hanoi, Vietnam, and around the world. How the heck are you guys doing? All right, I am going to be very, very blunt and upfront with all of you guys right now because I've had this movie on my wish list for a bit for the podcast because I'm a sci-fi geek. And every now and then a movie comes out and it just tickles the geekdom in places that I have to point to the doll on, so you know exactly how I feel. We're talking about Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. And here to join me, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm okay, but I'm stifling a guffaw. I almost didn't get past the doll.
Okay, you know that when a cool sci-fi movie trailer comes out, I'm literally, you know when it comes out. You don't need to have like any kind of notification on YouTube. All you need to do is hear me across the room going, Eee!
I know. I was going to actually put you off for another year, and then it would have been a solid decade.
Yeah, but that's another year of me sulking in the corner going, can I get the Valerian? I need to do the Valerian.
But we keep coming up with, other ideas. I'm not going to say better. I'm not going to say better ideas.
Yeah.
More on that later.
Starving games. Yeah, I get it. So sometimes every now and then I have to be patient. I don't like to be patient, but I no longer have to be patient because this is the time I get to talk about Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. But before we get into this film, it is time to take this comic book adaptation and trailerize it.
Think Hollywood is run out of comics to drain the life force from in the glorious attempt to make it rain moolah? Well, think again. Because not since Tintin has a French comic book movie made you say, Zut alors. And that's if you're being nice. From the guy that let Mila Jovovich wear bandages as a costume, comes a film that adapts a comic book called Valerian and Laureline, then says, lose the chick, because we're going dudin'. Dane DeHaan is Valerian, a soldier with a singular interest and a singular emotion. He's trying to get Laureline to marry him, even though she's both way out of his league and way better at their job than he is. So basically, it's Harry Potter all over again. Watch as this movie throws so many aliens, worlds, and visual effects at you all at once that you better hope the edible doesn't kick in too soon. Pace yourself. It's a long movie. Can the star-crossed duo help the mule clutch their pearls and get the heck out of Dodge? Luc Besson directs Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Rated PG-13 for Pauvre Garçon.
Oh my God. At least we can finally cross this off the list.
Right? And at least I can say I got to do something French in the trailer eye. So there is that. All right. So let's get into who is in this movie. The movie stars Dane DeHaan, Cara Delevingne, Clive Owen, Rihanna, Ethan Hawke, Herbie Hancock, Rutger Hauer, and Sam Spruill. And written and directed by the one and only Luc Besson, the man behind The Fifth Element, and another movie that we've actually covered on this podcast, Lucy. Of course, as mentioned, it's based on the graphic novel Valerian and Laureline. This film made the record books. With a $180 million budget, it became the most expensive movie ever made in France. The previous record holder? The Fifth Element. So Luc Besson likes to spend some money. Does he like to make money? Maybe not so much. Because domestically, this film only made $41 million and worldwide $225 million. When it was released on the July 21st, 2017 weekend, it debuted at number 5 with only $17 million. The top grossing film that week was the debut of Dunkirk with $50.5 million. Girls Trip came in second with $31 million. And then filling out the gap in the top 5, Spider-Man Homecoming was at number 3 with $22 million, and War for the Planet of the Apes was at number 4 with $20 million. So yeah, that is one hell of a weekend at the box office. You also had Despicable Me 3 still at number 6. So people were still going to the movies a lot. The thing is, box office aside, this film got some good accolades. At the 2018 Saturn Awards, it was nominated for Best Sci-Fi Film, but lost to Blade Runner 2049. It was nominated for Best Production Design, but lost to Black Panther, and was nominated for Best Costume Design, but lost to the live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. Like, that's a heck of a collection of films at the Saturn Awards in 2018. Also, at the 2018 Teen Choice Awards, Cara Delevingne was nominated for Choice Summer Movie Star Female, but lost to Zendaya for Spider-Man Homecoming. At the 2018 Hawaii Film Critics Society Awards, Rihanna was nominated for Best Vocal or Motion Capture Performance, but lost to Andy Serkis for War of the Planet of the Apes. And I'm sorry, if you have an award for mocap performance, you may as well just hand it to Andy Serkis, even if he didn't do anything, because that's what he does. And at the 2017 Seattle Film Critics Society Awards, the film was nominated for Best Visual Effects, but lost to War for the Planet of the Apes. But the reason why we are here, aside from my geekdom, are the critics. Over Rotten Tomatoes, this film has a tomatometer of 47% and a popcorn meter of 53%. But to give the full playing field here, IMDb sits at 6.4 stars out of 10 for a 64%. Metacritic, Metascore of 51. Letterboxd, 2.7 stars out of 5 for a 54% score. And the movie database sits at 66%, giving this film an aggregate of 55.83%. This is, across the board, a fairly even scoring. So I have to ask you, Carrie, 55.83%. Are the critics spot on?
I think it's low. I don't want to put it out there already, but I enjoyed this movie. I think it was beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
And you could really see where the money went.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think it is unfair.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like the 47% I think it was for Rotten Tomatoes, that really feels kind of low for something of this grandest scale. But I mean, we're also in 2018. We're like smack dab in the middle of like prime MCU time. You've got DCU putting out decent movies at this time. You have other big productions like Blade Runner 2049 that are out there. Like, this is a massive year for sci-fi and fantasy films. This just happened to be one of them.
Now, at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or a sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love, with just 30 calories and no artificial sweeteners. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
But let's get into the breakdown. We start, of course, with Dane DeHaan, who played Valerian. Your thoughts on him?
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I knew you were going to do this. Okay, so we have to preface this with the idea, or at least the knowledge, that Valerian and Laureline apparently is one of those properties, like that original graphic novel, that French comic book, that was actually an inspiration for George Lucas in some of the things that they did with Star Wars going on down the road. So I take a look at a character like Valerian, and I try to see if this is the character that inspired like a Han Solo kind of character, right?
More like Luke.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of creepy, though, if Luke is asking Leia to marry him.
Okay, fair. I can see that angle, but
I think I can understand why you say Luke, though. I think it needed a little more Han Solo.
I would say like an ineffective, leader, right? Like he was supposed to be like he was the major. He was supposed to be, I think a lot more authoritative and I don't know, knowing. Like he seemed a tad ineffectual. Okay, but very much like the Harry Potter,
The main thing here is this underlying thing that Valerian is constantly trying to convince Laureline to marry him while they're trying to complete this mission. And I'm sitting there going, there is nothing about your portrayal of this character, sir, that I could see her wanting to actually be with you. Like he's kind of monotone in this. Is it me?
No. And thank you for saying that, because monotone is the exact way that I would define his performance.
You know what this role needs?
He was meh.
This role needs a little bit more mischief, a little bit more of a, dare I say, a young Christian Slater would have killed in this role.
Okay, so I was thinking more, and yes, but... And I know that I have defended Steve Guttenberg. We talked Police Academy, and he was the quintessential ladies' man player, kind of mischievous, but he also had that leadership, authoritative element about him. And I think, I think that kind of performance would have made it more enjoyable to watch.
The thing with Steve Guttenberg, though, and of course, obviously we're talking like Police Academy era Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, we needed some Mahoney. He needed to step up his Mahonies. I mean... Yeah, no, I meant to say that.
Yeah. But yeah. No, you know what, though? Is it me? I think that Guttenberg would have been a little bit more too baby-faced for this. Like, I don't think I would have bought him in this more military role.
You don't think that Valerian had a baby face? There were times where I'm like, somebody card him. How the hell did he get to, his rank of, I think it was major. And if it wasn't, I apologize. He was a high-ranking officer, but...
Much like Harry Potter getting all the love from the books, and it was Hermione doing all the work, this is exactly what we have here.
I don't know. What was he promoted out of high school? I don't... How?
Actually, you know what? Since you mentioned Police Academy, we're trying to kind of recast this role of Valerian. You remember Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach?
Yes.
The first one without Steve Guttenberg, but it had Matt McCoy as Sergeant Nick Lassard, and he would have been fantastic in that role. No?
A bit old. A bit old, I think. I liked where you were going with Christian Slater.
Yeah, no, young Christian Slater, like we're talking like pump up the volume Christian Slater kind of thing, or maybe even Robin Hood Prince of Thieves Christian Slater would have been fantastic. Or Broken Arrow Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Broken Arrow Christian Slater might have been the perfect level of what you wanted out of Valerian.
I don't know, I'd even give it like Tom Cruise when he was at his peak. Like Cocktail.
Top Gun.
Risky Business.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Top Gun, Tom Cruise would have killed as Valerian. And that, yeah, I would have absolutely, bought that.
Okay, but we're talking about, what, a decade ago, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it current. I don't know, maybe even a Tom Holland.
Maybe more Chris Evans.
Timothy Chalamet.
No. And
Okay.
no, not Adam Driver either.
Oh my God, not Adam Driver. No.
No, I think it's one of those things where Valerian needed a little bit more like boyish cockiness to him.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
I don't hate that. But I don't know if I would have liked it as much as a Broken Arrow era Christian Slater.
Fair, but again, 10 years ago, you're now looking at a much older, more mature Christian Slater.
Okay, no, I'm just saying that kind of performance, that kind of screen presence in someone that you want to kind of put out there.
Right. So I'm looking at an actor who fits the age demographic.
You get pretty much, yeah. I mean, the key thing too is that if you have and I'm going to use your very succinct word of meh, a meh performance from the title character of the movie, it's not going to get you off on the right foot.
No, but he did have an excellent, support cast to build him up, to back him up.
Very much so. Speaking of, Cara Delevingne is Laureline. Your thoughts on her?
Oh, she was great. However, she kept slipping. Did you notice this performance? It was almost kind of like she'd be really great and really assertive and really power, and then would just kind of slip into meh and then come back. Like there were parts in this movie where I'm like, oh, come on, girl. You've proven you could do better.
Yeah. I mean, like you take a look at that entire opening sequence, like where she is very much putting Valerian in his place. And then, of course, they go down to do the mission in Big Market, and she is straight up in charge. Right? Like I loved her assertiveness and all that when she was actually doing things. But then, like, they turn her into like this, like, love-struck puppy love girl at the end, and I'm just like, no.
It wasn't even at the end. I think it was more, there was a point where she was eluding the guards and tricking them and kicking ass and taking names and chewing bubblegum all in the same.
Yeah.
And then started to lose it, kind of that whole search for the pearl. And when she realized she had to rescue Valerian, and she did, but then I think the whole butterfly scene, it started to lose me around that. Like her performance seemed to kind of take a nosedive, and I couldn't figure out why. I watched it twice and I'm like, no, it just seems, and I don't know if it was something in the direction or maybe in editing they missed something. Maybe something was cut. I don't know. It took a turn, but then started to come back.
I think part of the problem too is that if you're basing this on the Valerian and Laureline original graphic novel, comic strip kind of thing, but you make Laureline almost like a secondary character at times when she should be equal billing. I mean, I understand that if you made the title of the film Valerian and Laureline in the City of 1,000 Planets, I mean, that's a big title to put up on the marquee. But you could have just called it Valerian and Laureline and gone with it from there.
You know what it was? The scene where they go to the Lost Island and the mother and father are kind of explaining their loss and the daughter and the pearls and she's literally in this moment like taking like a sip of coffee, like she's bored out of her brain. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like this family who's lost their child is, bleeding hearts are happening here and you're just sipping your Starbucks.
The problem too is like it, when you get closer to the end, and again, spoilers like a mofo, dear listeners, like she's trying to give like the little pearl creating creature back to the mule. And it's almost like she's almost asking Valerian's permission to do it. And I'm just like, no, you are partners. You are equals. This shouldn't be a defer to Valerian kind of thing. Like, stop putting Laureline in second place. They're equals. And Cara Delevingne, at times in this film, is giving a very equal performance. Like, anyone who saw Suicide Squad and can just think of Cara Delevingne as like the weird hip dancing enchantress kind of character, watch this film. She is actually really good in it. And I see what Luc Besson was trying to do. He was trying to get a Mila Jovovich Fifth Element performance out of Cara Delevingne. And I think he did a really good job of doing that. It's just that the character of Lilu, Mila Jovovich in The Fifth Element, is more like, for lack of a better term, this alien manic pixie dream girl. And Laureline is supposed to be, almost like a Princess Leia. Almost like a Return of the Jedi Princess Leia kind of thing. Like General Leia. We got some of that out of Laureline. And I think it's a good role for Cara Delevingne. Clive Owen is Commander Flint. This is unapologetically the baddie and everything. Your thoughts on him?
I liked him. I liked him because he played both sides very well.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind that this is based on a comic book. He gave a very comic book villain performance. And I think it lends itself, because this is a very bright, very colorful, very loud movie. It is a assault on all the senses. And you want the character, the performance to match the world around you. Right? And I think this is the biggest problem with Dane DeHaan, is that all this is happening around him and everything is just eye-opening. Like, this movie is a visual feast. Dane DeHaan's performance, maybe not so much. Clive Owen understood the assignment, make Commander Flint unapologetically bad. He's sneering and snarling through the whole. He is going all in and making this character so freaking unlikable. And I love this for him, because Clive Owen doesn't normally get to have fun in a performance like this. He doesn't normally have the ability to make a buffet out of the scenery and the script that he's got and just go to town on it. And he is seemingly loving this, because it's true. One of the best things to get to do in a film is to be the villain and to be allowed to be a big stage villain. Commander Flint is kind of like that.
It was almost disappointing at the reveal when he was playing, both sides, or he was a villain, because it was like you really kind of wanted to trust him in his role, in his his leadership,
mm-hmm.
right? Like it was almost kind of like Valerian idolized him in a sense. There was that kind of respect there,
deferred to him, yeah.
And it was all that much more disappointing when it came to light that he's actually a baddie.
But does it not make more sense for the plot to have the baddie reveal be someone that Valerian trusted.
Oh, obviously, it was just disappointing to see it happen.
Okay, but you can't sit there and say it's disappointing to make it happen, but then it also makes sense and is probably better serving the script that it is this character that ends up being the bad guy. You're looking for your cake, and you want to throw it away too, I guess.
Yeah.
Cake. Sam Spruill as General Octo Bar. So this is the guy who once Flit is kidnapped by the mule. He takes over. Your thoughts on him?
I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him. I think I almost would have wanted to see more of him. He wasn't in as much, I think, as he could have been utilized. But when he was on screen, he commanded that role.
Mm-hmm. But I like that in the early going, like once the commander is kidnapped by the mule and taken away, Sam Spruill gives us a performance that's almost like a bit of a red herring because you're not quite sure if he's involved in having the commander kidnapped, if he's trying, because he's the guy who basically had to have Laureline taken off the bridge and told not to go after and save Valerian. So now you start to question if Octo Bar is the guy who's behind everything. I like when you have these little red herrings and it makes you sit there and question who's really the baddie in things.
Have you read the book? The comic book?
I have not read any of the graphic novels because je ne parle pas le français. I have not watched the animated series that is currently on Prime Video. Why? Because je ne parle pas le français. So.
I accidentally started to watch the French version, and at first, because it starts with the lost land, right? And so there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue, so I didn't clue in. And then there's, of course, the
mule.
The
Milane.
The beach scene.
Yep.
That was a simulated beach, but it was actually like
No. That beach
AI.
was real. No, that beach was real. Oh, I mean the beach that they were
at the beginning. It was a
Valerian and Laureline. Yes.
Manifestation, right? It was a fake. It was a hologram beach.
You're talking about the one that Valerian and Laureline are on.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That is a fake beach.
It was at that point when the dialogue kicked in the movie at first, and they're talking, and at first I'm like, well, I'm not quite sure what they're saying. Is it me? I thought maybe, at some point it would, I don't know, flip to English, or there would be subtitles kind of, maybe it was, meant to be, maybe it was part of it, but no, then I clued in eventually. Yeah.
You were literally getting the true Valerian experience coming from a French-based comic book. But yeah, no,
I didn't know what they were talking about. Not at all.
Yeah, I have no idea the actual backstory of any of the graphic novels or any of the animated series. I may be Canadian, but my French is not that good.
Mine is even worse.
I can probably order a beer in Quebec, and that's probably the extent of it. And depending on the beer, I can probably ask where the bathroom is afterwards. Looking at you, Labatt 50. Looking at you. Rihanna appearing as Bubble. Your thoughts on her?
Oh, she was so great. Oh my gosh, her performance that had to be tough, where they constantly had the costume and the look changes, and she held her own through everything, every different version of her on the screen, and she was so sweet. I mean, the script was written. I so loved where she first saw Laureline, and she's like, she's a 10. She's a keeper.
Yeah.
And I loved her. Love.
I mean, it makes sense to bring in someone like Rihanna, who is so used to doing choreographed stage performances, to do some kind of performance like this, because it's going to take some choreography, it's going to take some continuity, and it has to be perfect. So the CGI and special effects people have the ability to do all these really cool costume and physical appearance changes during this dance number. You know, like you need someone who can be trained to dance like that and have it be flawless and have them be able to do it over and over and over again in exactly the same way, because that's what Rihanna has to do on tour, right? It's brilliant to cast her. But I mean, from an acting performance, she did a really good job as well. Like, I will admit, like, I don't think Rihanna is my MVP, but she may be my biggest surprise performance from this film and how much I liked her in it. And then you have Jolly the Pimp, is played by Ethan Hawke, the guy who runs the bar the Bubble works at. And I had to sit there and go, holy crap, that's Ethan Hawke.
He was having so much fun. I actually thought it was Kevin Bacon because of the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas movie. In my head, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh, it's Kevin Bacon. He's having fun. And I'm like, holy jeez, no, that is Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, you get a very different Ethan Hawke performance than from his MCU appearance when he was in Moon Knight. But no. As Jolly the Pimp, your thoughts?
Absolutely loved him. He was so fun. He brought the fun in, well, there is no fun in Valerian. Valerian.
Funyuns?
Funyuns, yeah, exactly.
Are you hungry? We're gonna rock a bag of Funyuns here while we're doing the episode. We're gonna be crunching into the microphones. No, we're not turning this into a mukbang podcast. So no, just no.
Ethan Hawke, brilliant. He was so much fun.
I love when namer actors get to pop in and have some fun with all of this, right?
He wasn't around for a long time, but definitely for a good time.
No, you don't want him to be around for a long time. You want him to literally just come in, have fun, make a scene out of it, and then be done with it.
I loved so much where they were like, in his body and trying to mimic his personality so that they could get out of the place.
Yep.
And oh my God, it was almost kind of made me think of like Men in Black, where the characters turn into aliens right in front of you.
Are you saying that Ethan Hawke is wearing an Edgar suit?
Yeah. Well, no.
No, but kind of, but maybe.
No, but it was so well done. It was so fun.
Herbie Hancock as the defense minister. And then we really only just kind of saw him in like hologram messages to everyone. But it's freaking Herbie Hancock.
I would have liked to have seen more of him. I don't know why they didn't write a bigger part for him. I mean, it was almost kind of, he was almost the, the tie that binds, right? Like when you saw him at the end, it almost kind of came full circle.
Like
an important character.
Yeah, no, a very important character. Absolutely. But I mean, I did not know that Herbie Hancock was an actor as well. I mean, like I remember Herbie Hancock from, the song Rocking, doot, 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 doot. By the way, dear listeners, Herbie Hancock in May is going on tour. So if you have a chance to go see him on tour. But still,
thanks for that. I have the Crazy Frog version in my head now.
I am not sorry at all whatsoever.
Oh.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I love that you were able to get people who you don't expect to pop up in these roles and you're like, holy crap, it's him. Like, and it's a decent performance. Yes, it's very minimal performance, but I love the inclusion of people that you don't expect. And then you have people that are there for a very short amount of time, like maybe 2 minutes maximum, like the president of the World State Federation, as played by Rutger Hauer himself. He of Blade Runner fame. Now the president of the World State Federation. Your thoughts?
I think the most memorable was probably one of the first scenes, and I think it actually was the first scene of the movie, where all of the different dignitaries are coming off of the ship, and he's shaking hands and welcoming them to Earth, I guess, not Earth.
He starts shaking hands, but then you have other dignitaries through the years and through the decades. Now, a lot of those dignitaries, the people playing those dignitaries, are different directors and filmmakers that Luc Besson has known and worked with over the years. So while this is a fantastic exposition dump, and I love intro exposition dumps that are set to popular music. So this was kind of like a really cool way to intro, because if you don't know the story of Valerian and Laureline, and the fact that this is taken from, I mean, the movie itself is kind of taken from two different storylines, if you will, but the idea of Station Alpha, if you don't know what this is, okay, what is the City of a Thousand Planets? Well, now we've just told you what it was, and we put it to Major Tom, and love that. But I love the fact that Luc Besson brought Rutger Hauer in because of the reverence for what Rutger Hauer did in Blade Runner. Like, that role in Blade Runner, like Rutger Hauer's death scene, his monologue in that is one of the greatest movie monologues of all time. So to see him here, even if it's just for a short time, I think it's fantastic. All right. We cannot talk about this film without talking about how it looks. This is a big graphic overhaul production of a film. Almost everything is CGI. There's so much, there's so many different aliens. I think I was reading this, that there's like 600 different alien species represented in this film. Like, everything had to be created like through either CGI or through prosthetics or whatever. And like, this is a visual masterpiece. But I'm going to ask you, Carrie, did you think at times it was a touch much?
I don't know if much is the way to say it. I think there was definitely a lot going on, and it could have been simplified. I think for the uninitiated, which is me, I had no idea that this was based on a graphic novel, let alone you had mentioned the two different stories that were kind of being married into one movie. It was stunning, though. I mean, I have to just say it caught my attention, and how incredibly beautiful the Lost Island was. And, you know, it was such a magical place that you just wanted to go back there. You wanted more. You wanted to know how that tale ends, and are the people going to be okay from that island, right?
Yeah. The look of Planet Mule, especially before and after the ships start coming through the atmosphere, like, it is visually stunning. This is the kind of film, and I know we've kind of had this conversation before in the past about how people aren't going to the theaters anymore, right? This is the kind of film that needs to be seen on a big screen. It needs to be seen larger than life. It probably needs to be seen with the 3D glasses on, to be honest, because there's a lot going on. But this is spectacle. This is cinema. This is, you see every dollar of the $180 million budget in this. And the biggest thing is that at the end of the movie, you see this, for my dad, little memorial credit, because the reason why Luc Besson was so hardcore on doing this film was because of his dad. He did this film for his father. And I love that. But visually, like, even all these years later, this film holds up. It absolutely does. Like, people who complain about some of the bad CGI that's coming out in films these days, looking at you, She-Hulk, but, it's, Valerian proves it can still be done and done right if given time. And I miss seeing big visual spectacles like that on the big screen. I don't know if we're ever going to get something that grandiose, something that creatively new Here's hoping, because
I watched it on a tablet. And
this needs to be on the big screen. Yeah, I watch it on like a 10-inch screen.
I really feel that I was robbed, and I would love to catch this on, a playback or a special feature at our local cinema, because I would love to see this on a big screen.
Like next year, 2027 is the 10-year anniversary of the release of this film. I'd love to see it re-released.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I would see it again. As much as I might joke that there were certain parts that might have lost me or...
Dane DeHaan, yes.
Yeah. But it was a really good movie.
It's
surprisingly.
It's a ride for sure.
Considering I didn't know what to expect going into it.
And, in all fairness, sci-fi is not necessarily your genre. You dabble your toes into the sci-fi pool to, so I can swim.
Oh,
I get it. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, this is a fun, and I know you love The Fifth Element too.
Yes, very much.
But I think there's another thing that people were, if you went in expecting more of The Fifth Element and this is what you got, I could see people being a little bit thrown off a little bit.
It is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, visually, grand scale is the only really similar aspect. I think The Fifth Element, had a lot more humor.
Mm-hmm.
This had like little tiny pockets, maybe like a well-written, zinger in the script, and that was about it.
Yeah. It is much more an action film than it is a action comedy, much like The Fifth Element. But it has come time. So, Gary, who is your MVP of Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets?
Well, I already know you're not picking Rihanna, and I got to go for my girl. Like, Rihanna, absolutely.
Bubble.
Rihanna slayed this role. She was so kind and you just had to trust her. She was just so perfect. She was absolutely perfect, and I loved her.
Yeah. A fantastic surprise performance from Rihanna. She is not my MVP, though, because there's only one person that can stand up and say, all this happened because of me. That's Luc Besson, the director and writer. Like, he put a lot of his own money into this film. This was a passion project for him. This meant something for him at more than just a filmmaker level. And you can see that in what shows up on the screen.
I respect that. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah. But also the key thing is that by bringing this property, something that's not going to be as well known to North American audiences, to the North American screens, it becomes something that's more original for us. For us plebes over here in North America, that didn't get that comic book. But that's the thing, right? We're looking for new things on the screen. We don't want to necessarily see the same thing over and over and over again, right? Find new properties, find new creative works to adapt to the big screen and introduce new worlds to us, because this film introduced a lot of new worlds, a lot of new creatures, and one heck of a visual experience. Gary, thank you so much for this. And to you, our dear listeners, well, you guys know the drill. If there is a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned, or that there is no way in 1,000 planets that we can find anything good to say about it, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadcast, or go to our website at NotThatBadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to the website, because when we put up a new post, you get notified by email immediately. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay, you guys are awesome. This is It's Not That Bad, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.